if you find that person that I just described in your partner, then you are the luckiest man alive. There are people that are married, and it is when they get married that they have the loneliest time of their lives. And this has nothing to do with money. We don't see it as a COVID-19 virus. We don't see it as Ebola outbreak. We don't see those as malaria. But this is something that is killing people every day. Loneliness, for people that are lonely, could be equivalent to you smoking like 15 cigarette sticks every day.
How does the healing process looks like? Hey lovers, welcome back to another special episode of The Lab, Living Across Borders. I'm your host, Miss Alari, and today we have a special guest in the building, our own personal Toby. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, hello everyone. Yeah, she just said my name. My name is Toby Onanusi. Yeah, that's me.
What does your name
for short.
What does it mean, Toby?
What does it mean? Toby, okay, that's a Yoruba name. It actually means that God is a big God. Something like that. Yeah.
Big God. Something that is different. Is Alari a Yoruba name? Alari?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe there's a longer version of it, but then I don't know.
Okay, probably I don't know. Somebody said my surname is a Yoruba name, and I've been trying to look for the meaning of this one, Alari. But anyways, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Good to be here.
So let's dive straight into it, right?
Okay.
How did you end up 1,000 kilometers away from home?
Well, that's a very big question. I don't know. Do we have like the whole day to talk about it?
Sure.
I mean, because
part one, part two.
For real, I mean, talking about I ended up here.
Probably give us like the quick, compact version.
Okay, I'll try. So it was sometime in 2019, around October. Yeah. So while everybody was celebrating the independence of Nigeria, I was somehow on my way to the airport, trying to jackpot, like that. So I got here October 2nd, interestingly, and I actually came in for my master's. But I mean, how did I end up here? I mean, growing up, I've always wanted to do something like maybe, for myself, by myself. I just wanted to do stuff. I always like new challenges. So, I mean, of course, I grew up wanting to be a banker. And thankfully, I was able to attain that goal because I also worked for over like 5 years in Nigeria for 2 different banks.
Yeah.
So, but I still wanted a new challenge. I still wanted to do something different. I mean, even when I was in banking, I wasn't on a roll for more than 2 years. After like a few years, I'm always like, okay, so what next?
Yeah.
So that question came up again. Okay, what next? And then I didn't have so much, funds then, and of course Germany came in very handy because of the free tuition, for universities and all of that. So I thought of, okay, why can't I just come in for my master's in Germany, and then so. To answer your question, that's how the choice of Germany came up. So, I spoke to a friend and he told me about the whole process and all of that.
Yeah.
And I just ventured into it, and that's how I ended up here. So, yeah.
Okay. Can I ask, what did you study in Nigeria? Like, what was your first degree?
Economics.
Yes,
that was actually.
And then your master's.
I need to mention the Great Ife of Bafemi Awolowo University. We are very proud. So yeah, thank you.
You used to raise your shoulder too much.
Yeah, we're very proud. We always have to push it in your faces,
No problem.
Yeah, so.
Well done.
Yeah.
And then your master's degree was in what course?
Okay, yeah. So there's a story around that too, actually. So I actually got gained admission at the University of Hamburg to actually also do my master's in economics. But then I came in and actually came in I came in a few months after there was a global shutdown with the Corona outbreak and the COVID-19 and everything was going south. I was all by myself, all alone, with the culture shock, with everything, shut down. I couldn't even work. I couldn't also go to school. Everything was online. And even online, it wasn't, looking like it. And so I had a very, very turbulent start, to be honest. And of course, I also didn't have that, I would say, support. Like, I had no one. I didn't know anybody. You know, if I the person that picked me up from the airport, I actually wrote him on Insta. I never met him before. I just knew that, you know, we attended the same school, and I just reached out to him, and it was quite nice. And so that's to tell you that it wasn't like I had that, soft landing when I came. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, so I actually started at the University of Hamburg, but it wasn't easy. It was really tough, at start because of all the shutdowns and everything. Then I told myself, and I also wasn't really comfortable because I came in, I had to find out that, okay, I can't even like immediately start driving. I couldn't even get a normal apartment for myself. I couldn't, I mean, for someone like me that already had a life,
Yeah.
back in Nigeria, for over 5 years, I had my office space. I was like a department head, and I had people working, I won't say for me, with me. I had like my official car and even my personal car, and having to come here and having to start all over again, it was really hard. It was tough.
Yeah.
And at some point, I told myself, I'm not going to stay here. I think I'm just going to do as much as I can do, then find my way out of here. So I thought of it that, okay, you know what, this school, I don't think this is going to work as I'm not going to stay here anyways. So I started, okay, maybe I could work, gather some funds and just leave to some other places that can be more welcoming. I guess you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that happened for a couple of, say, months or years. And then at some point, like almost I mean, don't let me say everyone, I mean, like a lot of people that I've also spoken with, at some point, you now start, getting into the system and realizing that, okay, maybe I can actually stay here,
Yeah.
and at that point, I also knew that I had a very short time to do what I need to do, get my master's, get back into the industry
Yeah.
and do my thing, and at some point I decided, okay, you know what, instead of just going back to University of Hamburg and doing my economics degree, I'm just going to go for an MBA course, right? And just do it for a year so I can get back to doing the thing I love to do. So I actually started at University of Hamburg. I didn't finish that.
Okay.
Yeah, so eventually, sought for admission in another school, still in Hamburg. So I got my MBA. And then, yeah, that's the story around that.
Nice. Really deep. So you mentioned that like you had cultural shocks when you landed.
Yeah.
Examples are
Yeah, I think I mentioned a few. I mean, at first, I maybe what I also thought back in Nigeria was that, oh, I had 5 years experience, 5 plus. I'm just gonna come here, and of course, I have the certificate, I have the knowledge, the experience. I'm just gonna apply to banks, and of course, I can continue my career here. And then I realized that hey, it doesn't work that way. Of course, also I didn't also know the language, and that was a very big thing.
Factor, yeah.
A big factor to get into, especially that industry where you have to also maybe interact with the clients and everything. So that didn't work. And also, I mean, everything is so fast.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, the way they take their privacy, it's kind of very interesting because I mean, back from where I came from, you can even be on the bus or maybe on the road and somebody's saying, "Why are you doing this?" Maybe you even need help and somebody's running to you and say, "Go bring water, go bring this and that." So it's not like that.
Not
Everybody
like mind your business culture.
yeah, everybody just do their own thing, and you might even be living in a house for 20 years and you don't even know your next door neighbor.
True.
So everybody just do their own thing by themselves, and nobody really cares about what happens with the next person. So, I mean, it's quite interesting to find out that, people can actually just want to be in their space. I mean, it's a good thing, but sometimes it also causes a lot of problems in the society because we raise people that we don't have these deep connections with ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't even you need help. You don't even know where to find those help. And even information, if you don't sort for it, nobody's giving you on a platter of gold. So it's quite interesting together with what everybody says anyways. But then that one is not really my bit. I really don't focus on those, those negative parts so much. I focus on interesting parts for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So I think you mentioned that you had like work experience already.
Yeah, sure.
In Nigeria, you had your own personal car, a company car. Like, we're living decent or good, right? And then moving to Germany, the whole difference of you having to, oh, I need to sort for apartments, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. Now, when it comes to like the workspace and maybe you saying, okay, can I get into the banking system in Germany? Did you at any point feel like, oh, your work experience was not of relevance, or they did not place enough value on it?
Well, I wouldn't say it's irrelevant. It's never relevant. As a matter of fact, it's actually getting into it, getting into the job, like at least getting your first job.
Yeah.
I think that's the most difficult for everyone. So, of course, when you get on a job, of course, you have to prove yourself that you can do it. You're probably even better than every other person in the room. But having to actually convince the recruiter at the first time of asking is actually was, super important. And like I said, of course, language played a very important role. I mean, it always plays a very important role, in recruitment, even in applications. I mean, I remember if I probably check my email, maybe I've already sent 1,000 applications already. And you wake up every morning and you're still getting all the rejections, and you still have to push harder, you still have to do more. So I would never say the knowledge or experience from Nigeria or any country you come from is irrelevant. It's never irrelevant. It's just that, when you come in, you have to learn how it works here.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself together, put your application together, and always believe with your persistence and of course a lot of patience, because there's going to be rejections times and over and over and over. I mean, I don't think I've met anyone in my over 5 years of living in Germany that said, oh, I just sent one application and that was it. I don't know. Maybe if our viewers are watching, maybe they can put it in the comment section that, oh, I just sent one application and that. I mean, it's not impossible. It's very possible. Yeah. But I mean, I heard testimonies of people who say, oh, they sent 400, they sent 27, they sent 5. I mean, it's not just to say that the competition is fierce. I mean, you also have to compete with the natives of the country. You have to compete with also people from, from close borders and other part of the world that have different experiences, probably even richer than yours.
Yeah.
So, but proving yourself will probably be on the job. Right. But at least you still have to put something together to convince the recruiter that yes, you're from this part of the world and you bring in this degree to it, but then you can do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so like in my head, I'm thinking, I mean, I work for a German company and stuff. And when I was searching for a job, I did write a few applications, but maybe not up to 30. So, and then I went to different interviews and just picked the best that was for me at that time, based on location, earning, or whatever, or maybe the vibe I got from the space.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking, if you are saying, oh, I've written hundreds of application and had to deal with a lot of rejection, how, like, I don't know, I think that would like dwell a bit with my self-esteem a bit, or with me doubting myself, and just basically how do you deal with such rejection? Because it's a lot. If you're writing hundreds of applications and you keep getting, oh, sorry, oh, it doesn't fit, or oh, but in my head I'm like, but you have the application, you have the job online, so what do you mean?
Okay, yeah, I think I understand what you mean. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure of what your background is and probably how long you've been here, or maybe you even studied here or something. But as an immigrant that's just come into a new space, it also depends on the kind of information that you have at your disposal. I mean, for me, like I'm actually literally sharing my story. I didn't have that much prepping to say, okay, this is how it works. This is what you have to do. I just came with this mindset of, oh, yeah, I have experience. I have the knowledge. I have the expertise. I can just get into the system, send 1 or 2 applications, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if you are definitely having rejections, then it's also a nudge for you to know that you are probably not doing something right.
True.
Or you're getting something wrong. Right. So now you're writing so many applications, probably you're not just channeling it. Because at some point, I got kind of frustrated and I was just firing all applications everywhere, just sending, I thought maybe it's about the numbers. Maybe if I send like 20 a day. I also attended some funny workshops that would say, you have to keep sending as much as you can. Maybe, it's about the numbers. At least if you send, you should make your roster every day, at least send 20 applications. Yeah. And of course, I mean, if you don't have every information will be important to you, or
Yeah.
will make sense to you at that point. I mean, it's not a
If you
bad
don't
thing. Let me
actually
try.
know what's the
But I mean, now I know better that, of course, if I'm coming to a new space, I need to know how it works. I mean, it was even later that I got to know that, German CVs are different from maybe the one you send to Canada if you are living in Canada or something. It was even later I got to know I was still using my old standard, old standard of Nigeria. So it's not really about maybe I sent 1,000 CVs. It's actually about the persistence to want to make progress, to want to get to your goal, to want to make sure that you're able to achieve what you need to achieve. Remember I said that when I first came, I was just, okay, maybe I could just get to the back-end center and just, start working. But eventually I realized that, okay, maybe my education is not even enough. I still needed to do more.
Yeah.
I still need to maybe, attend the German school, do this and do that. Or maybe I still need to get some certifications and even upskill and get some more, skill sets that these people really need. So I started looking at those job listing more, look at the job description and say, okay, it's not really about I have 5 years experience in what, and what do these people really want? What are the other things I needed to do, to get what I want, and not just, plugging emails with applications. You understand what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. So there's someone watching now and thinking, oh, I want to hashtag Japa from wherever.
Yeah.
And maybe Germany is their next location or their next plan. What would be like, oh, these are things you should prepare yourself for. Maybe that would have made your landing a bit softer
Easier.
or make you a bit more prepared for like whether it's the job, the space, generally.
Yeah, I think that was a very good question because I've had to talk to a lot of people that already here and maybe trying to come here and all of that. And I always say one thing, that it really depends on how you get here. When I say how, I mean you use the word jackpot, which is a very big word, like it's an umbrella. And jackpot now it's now in phases. Some people jackpot through the sea, some of course for study, some camouflage it for different reasons. Some also for some other avenues which I might not be interested in. So it really depends on how you intend to do it. Now, maybe I will focus more as an expert, which was the route I used, like study and also work. So I would always say that, I mean, whatever it is that was your experience in Nigeria, you probably would have to put it aside and be ready to start all over again. And starting all over again, even if you got a job, I mean, the easiest way I believe I come to Germany is to get a job visa. Like you get a job in Germany and the job sponsors your visa. Oh, very good. Absolutely. I believe that's the best way to come here because you already have that soft landing you're talking about because, I mean, you have a job. Your job might even provide accommodation for you for a few months, when you get here. And of course, you're already making money. And most likely, maybe even the language might also be a factor at first because, I mean, your job knows that you can't even speak or probably you already learned in Nigeria. So many factors you've been able to beat the system in so many ways. So, I mean, you can just literally just, flow and just have to find maybe a good community. When I say community, I mean, maybe friends or, I don't know, family, depends on who you are. Maybe you like to keep friends or maybe you need a good support system. So, which is really good.
Yeah.
And also, it also depends on your own, I would say your own capacity at that time. Are you married? Do you have kids? So many factors. I mean, it's people that, talk to me and they say, oh, I'm married. I have 2 children, 3 children. Can we consider other options?
Yeah.
Because if you tell me that you're married and you have 2 children, 3 children, and you want to go on a study visa, hey, I need to put the cards on the table. It's not going to be so easy. You're gonna have to probably wait for like I mean, maybe the fastest that you could finish your education in like 2 years. And then you still have to get a job, which might not be so easy, then before you now start talking about family, bringing them, get into the system, it might not be so easy. So everything is, I will not give you like a one answer fits all on this session. I would just say that everybody's situation it's always different. So I wouldn't say, you can do it, just come, you're just going to be fine. I mean, you too, I came here and eventually I was able to figure it out, even though it was hard. You would always figure it out. But what are the conditions that exist with you now? What are your plans? What are your goals? Are you planning to just run away from Nigeria, or you just want to find somewhere to just lay your head and of course you'll be fine? Or are you still this very career-oriented person? You still want to, be in the system? Are you a medical doctor trying to come to Germany and you feel like, okay, I'm just going to be fine? No, you're not just going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because you probably have to start all over again to learn all your medical terms like you were in primary school. So it's not like you're not going to succeed. Yes, you're going to succeed, but it's going to take a bit of time. Unlike someone that is probably an IT guy that can easily even get a job from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So there's really no one answer fits all. I would say that whatever it is that you've experienced there, you might have to start all over. But that's the reality of most of us. And of course, just be open to so many things that is going to come your way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So, you mentioned that when you came to Germany, like the first time you wrote someone on Instagram, maybe because you guys went to the same school before. And I'm just wondering, how did you navigate coming to a country and starting from zero? Because in my head, I cannot imagine myself going to a country. I don't know, but probably if life puts you in some situation, you try to figure it out. But like going to a country and you're just, everything is new. The environment is new. The weather is new. The language is new. The culture, the people, everything is new. Like, how do you move from being in Nigeria with your family, your friends, having your things going on for you too?
Well, it was tough.
Yeah.
From everything I've said now, this is not to discourage anyone to say, oh, don't do it. It's not going to work. Of course, in the end, to be honest, I'm good now.
Yeah.
That's not to say I'm where I want to be, but yeah, it's been a tough journey. Like I said, coming here, I also came during, just a few months before COVID-19 shut down and everything. So it was really tough. There were days that I was lonely as anybody. In fact, I don't want to say depressed because I wasn't diagnosed medically that I was depressed. But there were times that I also mentioned earlier that there was a time I already told myself I'm not going to stay here.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me even put it out again that I actually even got admission for my master's in the UK at some point. That was sometime in 2020. Yeah. I went as far as applying for a school in the UK. I got an admission. I was actually going to move. I already told myself, no, because I feel like I could have been able to easily use my experience that I have in Nigeria if I was there. Because, we even have some local banks in Nigeria that also operate in the UK,
Yeah.
And also, they speak English and I can apply and use my skills and everything to just get something for myself. So if I also school there, also is also another advantage. I already concluded, I'm just going to leave. So, I didn't have it so rosy. Imagine me on that level. I had to pick up major jobs. Oh my God, winter, summer. Sometimes I do 2 jobs. I do night shifts. But I just had to tell myself, there's something I always tell myself is just keep showing up.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, however tough it is, just keep showing up. And that really helped me because even what I do at the moment, it was still about that showing up. Like, guy, whatever it is, just pick yourself up. Nobody's going to do anything for you. You just have to keep showing up. And of course, I know where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, okay, it's not so easy. I remember my first job in this country was actually delivery. food delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And tell you what, I mean, like I said, everywhere was shut down during Corona. Nobody was going to the office. Nobody was recruiting.
Yeah.
And I'm there. And of course, whatever money that I saved, I was in the bank, was already like zero.
Yeah.
You know, I know how rent is now. For many months, I was just living on my savings I brought here, and of course, block account and all of that. So I already knew that guy. I have to do something and fast. But there was nobody that was recruiting, not even menial jobs, not even warehouses. So I remember a friend came. I mean, I'll say friend, but it was someone I met. And then was like, there's this job, I mean, food delivery. And, the restaurants were still open, even though not to customers.
Yeah.
But if you are delivering, you can still deliver to people's houses. And that was the only thing
Yeah.
that was available. And I told myself, you know what, guy, just dump that your experience and that your high flying whatever in Nigeria, that your suit up, banker, fine boy thing,
Yeah.
just go for it, bro. And there's a funny thing that happened. I'm going to link it to showing up thing.
Mm-hmm.
The very first day on that job, I told the guy, don't worry, I'll do it. It's like, I mean, that's what we do. That's how we roll. And this, everybody just, okay, fine. My first day on the job, I got the e-bike to get on job, and it was winter, like harsh winter, and it was also raining.
Oh.
You know the thing about hamburger, if it's winter, it's bad.
It's already bad.
It's already bad. Now it's not raining.
Oh, Jesus.
It makes it worse.
Yeah.
So, and then I mean, my first delivery took over 1 hour. Because I could not even navigate. No, I'm new in Germany. I mean, I never had to really use the map. I mean, yes, in Nigeria, I know I knew my way. So, I mean, and because it was raining, I had to use my phone to navigate. And water was dripping on the phone, and it was just turning the map all over the place.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I was so frustrated. They were calling me from wherever, the hub, the warehouse, where are you? The customers complaining. Mm-hmm. The customer also trying to reach me. Everybody was just, and I was in the middle of nowhere. I picked up the order, but I couldn't deliver it because I didn't even know where I was going. I could not locate the place for over 1 hour. Yeah. And I was under the rain, and it was so cold, I didn't even dress the weather. Yeah. And I told myself, no, I can't do this. It's not possible. No chance. And I just told myself, how did I get here? I'm like, how can I possibly be doing this, Toby? Just find a way. I just move out of this. Then I'm like, okay, fine, let me just manage. I mean, I have this order already. I have this food. I have to deliver it. Then I go home. And then it was already getting close to the end of my shift. Then eventually I was able to find a place. And I remember telling the client, that the customer, that I'm so sorry, I couldn't, this was my first day. No problem. And guess what? This client gave me, I think 10 euros, if I can remember. And then I'm like, okay.
You're not even upset.
I mean, the lady saw me and I was drenched. And then I think she just had compassion on me, like, this guy has suffered. And then, I mean, I think that was a lot. I mean, 10 euros for a tip in Germany, is a lot. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay. Then I delivered the order, put it on the app, I delivered, and then they give me another order again. I'm like, are you guys serious right now? And then I wrote them like, I'm sorry, I'm not taking any order again. I just want to go home. And then the guy was like, this is the last one. There's nobody that's going to take it. If you can't take it, then it's going to be da-da-da-da. And then I checked. I saw it was just 2 minutes away. That's like, oh, okay, fine. Maybe I can do this. Then I delivered that order again. And this guy gave me a tip. I can't remember. So at the end of the day, maybe 5 euros or something. And then I went, that was the end of the shift. And I told myself, guy, that's the end. I cannot do this anymore. I mean, this was just supposed to be a mini shift. So what if I'm not doing this every day? I'm going to be miserable. Yeah. So I went back to the hub and I told them, okay. And then at the end of the day, when I go back home, and then I'm like, okay. I only delivered 2 orders at like $15. Yeah. So that means if I could actually at least save us some money. And then the guy that introduced me to the job, I called him like, I can't do this. And then he was like, no, there's a way around it, that you just have to get like a bicycle phone holder, and of course, maybe you order some protective, this one, that one, for your face, for your hands, for your legs, and then you'll be good. And then the following day, I still told myself, no, I still can't do it. But when the time came for my shift, it was supposed to be the evening, I just told myself, like, guy, whatever happens, just show up. You just never know. Maybe it's from this job that, somebody's going to see that, okay, maybe this guy is, or maybe they can just put me in another road. And I told myself, and then I picked myself up again. And I went, and I think I was on the job for quite a while because, the lockdown was also, kind of very long and all that. So that was actually my first job here. So it wasn't like it was so easy. There were times that, I just told myself that, no, I can't continue. For that period, I remember speaking to my boss back in Nigeria then, and I was like, this is not going well as I thought. And then my boss told me that if you know you cannot continue, you are still one of the best aunts I have.
Yeah.
Come back. I don't mind, taking you up again. Yes, you resign, but I'm happy to have you back. But then I told myself that, it's also a good thing, which is one very important lesson that I also was able to pick up. It's also not a good thing to start something and not finish it, because if you want to take it up again, it becomes even more difficult. And it's also, have a lot of, damage to your self-esteem. So I told myself that, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do this master's and I'm just going to go back to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And that's also part of what informed my decision to just really be able, hey, I'm still here. Yeah, and we're still keeping up. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So let's just summarize first of all before we get into our topic for today.
Okay.
How is Germany treating you currently?
How's Germany treating me? Well, I can say I'm happy today. Probably if you asked me this question like some years ago, it might not end well.
Yeah.
But right now, to be honest, I think I'm happy. I deliberately use the word think because I've not had to think about this question before. Like, how is this place treating me, So, but comparatively, then and now, I think, yes, I'm better off. Yes, it took a while. It took a lot of sacrifice, patience, tolerance, hard work, sleepless nights. But yes, I'm much better, I'm happy, of course, I was able to complete a master's degree, and also after my master's, I was able to get a job, and of course, I'm doing well in my job. I recently got a promotion as well, so I can't complain.
Toy. As Jama will say.
I can't complain, to be honest. Germany has given me so much. At least also I've been able to also, most importantly, help a lot of people, because I feel like the platform I have here also gave me the avenue to be able to help a lot of people, not only back home. Back home, yes, a lot of people do that. Even here, in Germany, I know a couple of people that have been also able to, bring here, help here, and also be able to talk to a lot of people to, provide help, information, and all of that. So, to be honest, I can't complain. Yeah, it's good enough.
So I heard you saying you help a lot of people and stuff. So are you open for like consultation? Should you put your details out there?
Of course. You can easily reach me on LinkedIn. I have my profile there. You probably see something like a tutor, life coach, and I also host events anyways. Yeah. So I host events as well. So yeah, I do a lot of consultation, though privately. I've not really do it like an official capacity, like a setup. Even though I'm working on that already, I'm actively working on that, and that should definitely fly this year. Because I feel like if I can do this privately to people, a lot of people, I think it will also go a long way to have like a body, like an NGO that is able to assist a lot of people. Because you'll be surprised that almost everyone that walks past you on the street needs to say one or two things and nobody's listening.
Yeah. All right, guys. So Tobi's contact details will be in the description box below. Just check it out if you want to get in touch with him. So our today's topic is lolling in the crowd. the silent epidemic of isolation.
This is like
Sounds like grammar.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay, I think we should start from a scenario I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just build on the conversation from
Okay.
that. So, someone said, I've been living abroad for a few years and lately I've been feeling really lonely.
Mhm.
I have friends here, but none of them feel like true connection. The language barrier still makes it hard to bond deeply, and I miss the familiarity of home. People who understand me without needing an explanation.
Mm.
Dating feels intimidating, and I'm unsure if anyone would truly get what I'm going through. I'm wondering if this is a part of living abroad or if there is something I'm missing in terms of building deeper connection. How do I cope with this loneliness? I mean, you have mentioned a lot of being lonely,
Yeah.
isolation, feeling depressed. If you're not careful, like,
Mhm.
I mean, in the course of your conversation, there's already bullet points
Yeah.
leading to loneliness. So, how would you advise this person now to like go about this situation?
Okay, well, this topic of loneliness, trust me, is very deep. Very, very, very deep. I mean, the first thing is maybe trying to even understand what it really means. And people even admitting truly that they are lonely. I mean, I'm happy that, this is like I don't know if it's a real life story or maybe it's just like make believe. But then, I mean, what is loneliness itself? Loneliness is not, like it's more of an emotional feeling, like being alone when you are probably even in a room full of people.
Yeah.
It's a deeper connection, to oneself and need, as it were. So, I mean, I think the first aspect, which that person, I think probably already passed, is having to admit that you're lonely. Because a lot of people would not even want to, because of the stigma that it probably comes with, in a world where everybody's supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be doing your thing, you're supposed to be
Yeah.
independent. So admitting that you're lonely can also come with maybe, weakness, a sense of weakness.
Yeah.
Sometimes you call up a friend, you want to speak to a friend about, excuse me, something, and then you call your friend and your friend is all about, herself saying, oh, this is happening, that is happening. And you're probably not even saying, oh, I'm actually calling you because I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
You're probably not even admitting to say, oh, I need help. Oh, I'm just calling to check up on you. Probably it might actually not be that the person is calling to check on you. It might actually be that person needs to speak to somebody. But then you also just go on and say, oh, this is happening, that is happening. At the end of the day, the person is just there listening and even trying to be attentive, and, help you. Meanwhile, this person is also dying in silence. So we live in a very fast world today. And I dare to say that loneliness is a silent epidemic that is really dealing with us in this generation. Now everybody goes digital, everybody's with the phone, the tablets, the laptops. You get in the train, long distance connection. Gone are the days where you meet people when you travel. Nowadays, everybody's just on their phone. And it creates it creates an illusion of closeness.
Yeah.
It creates an illusion of connectivity. That's what I mean to say, because you are there, you feel like, oh, I can reach out to anybody in the world just by my phone. But then, as much as you feel like the world is connected, the world is going separate, way apart. So people are now maybe in the comfort of their own, scrolling to Instagram, scrolling to TikTok, and it creates this, sense of comparison, and also distance.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing somebody, and we just made a post 5 minutes ago, oh, my holiday in this and that and that, and they're pushing the narrative to you. They show you what you want to hear, and then you'll be like, oh, why is my life like this? Why am I not like that? And then it also makes you withdraw even further because you feel like everybody's doing their own thing. Trust me, you get on LinkedIn, I'm sure on LinkedIn you see a lot of posts. I'm happy to share that I just started a new position as this. And you see I'm happy to share that I just got a new certification. And then you're looking at yourself that, oh, I'm still trying to struggle with this and that. And then this actually makes people withdraw even more. Right. So this scenario just painted now, it's not only peculiar to maybe, oh, because you're in Europe or because you just moved to a new country and all of that. It is something that deals with, you know, our person, as it were, in this day and age. The life is happening so fast with people, and everybody has so many things to deal with, and we don't really have deep connections anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have people that we have deep conversations with. We don't have, you have people around, but nobody's really listening. So now we have people that are unseen. There are a lot of people that are unheard.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is the fundamental problem. So in the world of today, I think we need to do way better to have intentional friendships, intentional community set up to really address the needs of people. And I tell you, there are lots of things, a lot of vices in the society that starts from just being lonely.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, we've had people go into unhealthy relationships because they don't want to be alone. Especially, you live in Europe, it's really hard to find friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even want to go to partners or maybe love. I mean, that's another conversation for another day. It's really, really hard to find deep connections. So, I mean, you find people go into unhealthy relationships because they just want to do everything to keep it because they don't want to go back to being lonely anymore.
Yeah.
People have had to go into drugs, abuse substances just because they're lonely. People are falling into depression. Some people have even committed suicide just because of this, what I say, silent epidemic.
Yeah.
So we don't see it as a COVID-19 virus. We don't see it as Ebola outbreak. We don't see those as malaria. But this is something that is killing people every day. I mean, this topic is actually very, very important to me because I have like a project. This is like a project for me. I'm actually working, on this to make it like I'm actually working on a foundation where I try to help people to find, help when and where they need it. And from my research, I found out that loneliness, for people that are lonely, it could be equivalent to you smoking like 15 cigarette sticks every day.
Wow.
So it can actually break your heart. You can feel so overwhelmed. Some people just need someone to just check on them and say, hey, not just, are you okay? We are good with, oh, Vigits. Oh, are you fine? I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm good. At the behind of that I'm good could be a whole lot
going on. Yeah.
A whole lot going on. And in a country where everybody, builds on, privacy, you have to ask for people's permission to even get their contact, to share their contact. You have to ask for permission to even take pictures, to even be in a space with them, Of course, it's a good thing, but everything comes with their own, else's as well. So it's a very deep conversation that, we need to have with ourselves because the world is growing so fast. And I think as much as technology is developing, we also need to do so much for ourselves to be able to, attend to each other's, emotions, feelings, because a lot is going on in our society today.
Yeah.
And I feel like even raising children in this kind of setting, I mean, sometimes I fear for the future.
Yeah.
I fear for what the next generation is going to look like, where we have people just be on their gadgets and they're just by themselves, or we don't even have deep conversations anymore. People just want to talk about maybe politics, this is happening, that's happening, elections, and everybody just goes away. Nobody is really talking about how I feel, what does this make me feel. And this thing happen in phases. This person is talking about relationships now because, okay, I just got here. I need to build relationships. Okay, do I have this community, maybe Nigerian community? Maybe if you're from Ghana, do you have a Ghanaian community? But this community, what do they really do there? Do they really attend to your needs or they just share information that could even be found everywhere?
Yeah, on Google. So,
or okay, how to find the kita for your kids, or how to get admission, or how to register for your accommodation, or blah, 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 blah. Nobody's really having deep conversations, about how you feel, what you should be doing, how to find help. I know in this country as well, people don't really share information like that. You have to find that information. Even when you are due for something, nobody's giving it to you and say, "Oh, you are due for this ticket." You have to
If you
you
don't
have
know
to,
it, you
yeah,
don't get
you
it.
don't know it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it goes way beyond just having conversations or maybe just having a friend or you have a lot of people in the room. You know, I mean, there are a lot of people that on their jobs, they don't even have any deep conversation with colleagues.
Yeah.
They just want to go to their jobs and come back home because of fear of, I don't want no problem. Let me just
I
do
don't want
that.
them to get into
I don't want
my
to get,
personal
yeah,
space
exactly,
and
my
stuff.
personal space, and I don't want anybody knowing anything about me.
Yeah.
And these people might even be dying in silence.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, the first stage is even admitting, that you need help. And the second stage will now be trying to even seek for that help and getting the help that you need.
Okay. So I mean, I hear what you're saying, yeah. But like another question would be, why do you think we pay, if it's such a delicate and important part of our lives, why do we, or why do people pay so little attention to it? Why is there not a lot of attention to it? What do you think would be like?
Well, I think I dealt with that a little bit, but I'll still go into it more. The first thing is the stigma of weakness.
Yeah.
Because like everybody goes around with the very high shoulders that, oh, I can get my things done, I can do my thing myself. And of course, coming from our own community, when I say I mean African community, coming from Nigeria, and you're in this Nigerian community, you don't want to be seen as, oh, this guy is lonely, or this person is alone. Or you want to also be the big person in the room and say, oh, I have my things done. So people don't really want to admit that they have these issues or they have these problems. And even when they know it, they tend to want to be big on it and say, oh, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'll be fine. So, number one is how you'll be perceived, which can be a form of weakness. That's the first thing, right? So the first thing is that you are thinking, oh, I don't want people to see me as being weak, which is a very, very big issue, on its own. Another thing I'll probably mention is, admitting that you need, you might actually be lonely and you probably don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Very possible, because you need this help, you need that help. You just feel like, oh, maybe because we give that excuse a lot. Oh, it's because I'm in a country where people don't understand me, or the language, which is a very big factor, anyways. Because I mean, to even get help, you probably should be able to even communicate what you even need.
For
in the first place, which I think is also a very big factor. You need to be able to communicate that effectively. That, okay, this is what I need. And also, I think I dare to say the selfishness of the other person. We don't have good quality friendships anymore. The friendships are majorly based on what I can get from this person. You're not even conscious to know that the other person that you're talking to probably also needs help. It's just like black tax in Nigeria. The person that is taxing you does not even know whether you even have anything, but they just feel like, you're abroad, you should be able to, and it's the same thing when we show up every day and then you look good and somebody's looking at Toby and be like, this guy, he has all these things, put together, and then you don't really necessarily have to feel like, oh, maybe you need help.
Yeah.
Or something. So people kind of get evasive with this thing and feel like, or maybe I'm the only one that has a problem. Every other person does not. But trust me, I've had conversations with a lot of people in this very country, and I can tell you that 9 out of 10 of every individual that walk past you on the road, it has something to share.
Yeah.
Something that when you listen to them, you'll be wondering, how did you get here? You have all of this in your mind and you have not spoken it out. I mean, and the moment you realize that you have this, then it's an avenue to want to evaluate the quality of friends that you have.
True.
Because at the point where you are already going from loneliness to maybe even depression, or you find yourself always sad, always in a depressed state, and this has nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with it. That you already find yourself in a depressed state, you're not happy, or maybe there's some things you love to do, that you cannot even do them anymore, or you can't find yourself in those avenues, then you begin to evaluate. Maybe there's some things you are doing wrongly. Or maybe you don't even have quality of friends. I mean, I'm 100% certain that if you check through everybody's phones, you probably see not less than at least 50 contacts.
Yeah.
And that's to put it at the very minimum level. Some people have over 1,000 people on their contacts, on their contact list. And I mean, that you don't even have somebody that just, even by just saying hello, the person knows that this guy, you're not okay.
You're not okay.
Something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know, then maybe you should begin to think of your circle of friends. You know, if you can look around and you don't even have somebody you can really call and say, you know what, I just want to cry. I've been through a lot. And you know, sometimes you don't really need much. You just need somebody to pat you on the shoulder and say, bro, oh, babe, you're trying, or this thing that you're doing, if it's me, I'll have broken down. You are really, really brave and you're strong and you can do it.
Yeah.
For you to even get to this stage, I believe in you. You know, some people, they have all their things put together. They don't even need help from you. They just need you to just listen. They just want to pour out their emotions and I just want to talk.
But how do you, because I mean, this person said, people who understand me without needing an explanation. That's what you meant. Like, if you have 1,000 contacts, you should at least have one person that, even by you just saying hello, can tell, oh, this person is not okay, or you're not doing fine. How do you actually make such connection? Like, how do you find such people? How do you make quality friends?
Well, really, that's a very tough one.
Because I'm just thinking at the top of my head, you meet people, you talk to them, but are they really like friends that adds quality to your life? Because that's quality friends, right?
First thing I'm gonna say is, number one, if you also want quality friend, you have to be quality yourself. You have to have that value. Yeah. Because, you know, like I said before, there are a lot of people around that are just friends for what they're going to take from you. So if you are also a burden to somebody that is also looking for a quality friend, the person might also not see you as that quality friend and will just want to move past you.
Yeah.
Do you get my point? So if you actually want quality friends as well, you should be able to also build yourself to the point where that you are of value to someone. You get what I mean?
Does that not translate though to like transactional friendship? It's almost like I can get something for you. You can get
not necessarily. Really? I mean, look at it in this way. The reason why a lot of people maybe also flock around you to get something from you is because they have something to get from you, right? So you have built yourself to a point where, of course, you have so many people trying to say, "Oh, success, can you do this for me?" Or I have this problem, I have that problem, and then you can be the big person in the room. Of course, you can. Why not? But then, if you are, don't forget, we're talking about, you know, loneliness here. If you are not lonely, you have, you know, the support system. Of course, you can continue with your life, all well and good. You can also still provide help to everybody that needs it. But if you find yourself in a circle where you are always having to give and there's nobody to receive from, then there's a problem. That's what I'm saying. So you now have to evaluate yourself. That's what are the qualities I even bring to even say I even need a good quality friend as well. There's some people that, I mean, like I always say, you need that one person in your life that irrespective of what happens, this person will always show up for me. If you have not found that person, please find that person. There will be one person in this life that says, even if you commit I was going to say something, but don't let me say it. Even if you commit the highest crime in the land, this person would, if you look back, you'll still find this person and say, no, if you are my guy, you are not going down. Whatever it is, we do it together.
But you know that, I mean, people actually never get to find this person.
You will continue to find it. Because, that's just what I feel. Because, I mean, do you also know that some people actually have the kind of person in their lives and they lost it? And that's what I mean, that everybody evaluates what they have per time. If you have somebody that is always having to take, at some point you also feel like, come on.
Yeah, I was good.
And even if you don't feel that way, the need that you have might make you also navigate to other people that you can also get that help from.
Yeah. That's a deep, like, the whole process is deep because finding that one person that is like, your ride or die that it doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
do, I got you. And it's not necessarily, I think a lot of people just feel, oh, if you have like a partner in terms of like a loving relationship or
Okay.
like a mutual relationship, like if you have a partner, this person, your partner should be this person for you and stuff.
Good.
But people search their lifetime for this person.
Mhm.
And does that now mean they can't get out of the space of being
Okay.
lonely? Or what would be like your own suggestion, solution?
Let me put it this way. I know you're going to get there, but let me put it this way. If you find that person
Mm-hmm.
that I just described
Mm-hmm.
in your partner, then you are the luckiest man alive. If your partner can be, let me borrow your word, ride or die friend,
Yeah.
then you're the luckiest person alive. Because you can have everything you want all to yourself and they are just good. But for some people, trust me, that person might actually not be their partner. Of course, it's still okay.
Mm-hmm.
But do you also know that there are people that are married, and it is when they get married that they have the loneliest time of their lives? Before they got married, everything was okay. They had quality friends, they had people, they had a job, they had family, they could go wherever they want to go. That brings me to the part of different phases of loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people, of course, it's when they leave their home country in search of greener pastures, they become extremely lonely because of course, new culture. They have a new job, they have new people, they have to make new friends, of course, new space, and all of that, and they get lonely. There are some people, it's actually when they get to marriage, and of course, marriage is supposed to, in quotes, cure loneliness, right? And
Right.
unfortunately, they get along with the partner, and everything just goes south. Right. There are some people that is when they give birth,
Mm-hmm.
they have children, and that's another phase of loneliness again. Some people have children and they're so overwhelmed trying to take care of the children. Of course, at home, they still have a job, they have this and that. Of course, maybe they used to hang out with friends and do that and do this, and they can't do that anymore. And of course, those friends also have moved on because they're no more available. And that's what I mean by constant value, because I mean it's not transactional, but if I'm also doing a lot for you, by default I'll probably expect also some level of just like in marriage, like you mentioned. I mean, you would say marriage is transactional. No, it's not. But then the level of expectation in marriage obviously is higher than when you're just friends.
Yeah.
So which is absolutely normal. So another phase, like I mentioned, is motherhood. Now you have to do so much, and then you're just all by yourself. And maybe even your circle of friends are still single. They don't even understand how to even pet a crying child, and then you are just all by yourself. And that's why I said that when you get to that stage, you probably will now have to evaluate the circle of friends that you have. Because if you are getting to marriage and getting to motherhood, expected that you probably have some people that even knows
About this.
that can provide that support that you need at that time. So it's not necessarily that you don't have friends or you don't have people, but maybe those are not the people that you need at that very point in time.
Does that not translate to you saying, depending on the phase that you find yourself, you will need different ride or die partners?
I won't say ride or die. Let me put it this way. There's one illustration I've always used, and that's different types of friends. There's a friends for a reason, friends for a season, and friends for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Now, start from friends for a reason. I mean, when you were in school, you had this class captain that was very brilliant and all of that, and of course you want to get close to him so at least you can get some favors, or maybe you even had group discussions, or maybe or lectures. You just need to get some favors, small favors. Let me know when the lecture is going on. Let me know when they're getting attendance. Those are friends for a reason. And of course, after, I mean, that's what's the reason. That's what brought you together. Or maybe there's this very rich friend when you were in school, you didn't have so much, and then there's this rich friend that can always throw money around. You just want to be friends with him, so at least you can always eat at least twice a day. Friends for a reason. Those ones, after that phase, that's all. And then friends for a season. I was using the same illustration. You are in school. After school, of course, 20 friends can play together for 20 years. So after school, everybody's going to go serve in different cities.
Yeah.
This one is in Canada. This one is this and that. And distance doesn't for relationships. In fact, as a matter of fact, it's even more difficult
To keep.
to keep friends if you are at a distance. There are some people that have done it very well, but trust me, not all of your friends that you had then that you still have. So it's friends for a season. Now, friends for a lifetime, it's just as it sounds, for life, my G, and that's the ride or die that I'm talking about. Now, if friends for a reason can become a friend of a lifetime. So it doesn't really matter that, okay, because I met for a reason, then that's the end of it.
Stay that way,
Yeah. And friends for a season will not become friends for a lifetime. So that I met you while you were, maybe you just needed or I needed help. And of course, there will always be how you meet.
Yeah.
You meet somehow. But then we now became friends and we became very close. Even when we are at a distance, we still kept our friendship. We can still call each other. We still try to see each other. And then we become friends for life. Right. So it's not like each and every time you have to find one friend per time or whatever it is. But it could also be just like we just needed to bond for this period. I need this at this time. You also need this one in our spaces. And, all good. People have had relationships that was like maybe just for a short period of time and they're still good friends afterwards.
Yeah.
They just needed that support at that point and they got it. And then life goes on.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So now let's go back to our scenario, right? Do you think, especially if you're living abroad in a country that English is not their first language, do you think like the language barrier adds to the loneliness? Or
True.
it's just...
True. It's really peculiar for migrants in Germany because, coming in, you can't just get into a pub or a cafe and you just want to talk to everybody there. You probably would have to first ask, do you speak English, please?
Yeah.
And even sometimes when people even speak English, they will tell you, oh, I'm sorry, I can't speak English, but you're speaking English, Yeah, so of course it contributes a very, a whole lot to finding quality friends. And that's why a lot of people are boxed into making friends with just people from, where they come from. Yeah, so you probably have to now go the extra length of, breaking that barrier to find, but it doesn't still mean that you can't still find good friends. Yeah.
All right. So how would you say because now I don't want to call it a sickness. Let me just say it's a situation. How does the healing process looks like? I know I'm lonely. I've realized I'm lonely. I'm willing to get help. First of all, where do I even start from getting help? And how do I move from loneliness to not being lonely? If I'm going to, I'm looking for a particular word, but it's not currently on my head. But how do I, because I know I'm in this situation now. It's not the ideal situation I want to be in. How do I move from that space to a better space?
Okay, first of all, I'll first say that, number one, you cannot cure loneliness. Let's first put that straight. You can't cure it. You can only treat it. So cure is that, it's going to end, like it's never going to come back again. But you can only treat it, at the points where you are lonely, you can treat it. And here's what I mean. First off, I've said it before, number one, you first need to admit that, oh yeah, I think there's a problem.
Yeah.
Now, when you admit there's a problem, then you're now trying to solve it. I'll say the first thing is, first off, intentional friendships. Because you can't go alone. You can't. In this life, you cannot go alone. You need people. You will need people, and not just people, quality people. Even if you really don't want to do much in life, there's some people that, they already feel like, I don't think I'm going to be rich anymore. I just want to live a modest life, and it's okay. But even with that modest life that you want to live, you're going to need support system that goes beyond maybe just family. Because there's some things that are deep that conversation that you cannot even have maybe with your dad or mom. You probably need somebody that would not necessarily judge you, that would just want to listen to you and say, oh, everything's going to be fine. I'm not saying maybe your dad or mom would judge you, but trust me, you know that there's some conversations that you'd rather have with somebody else and not probably your parent.
Definitely.
There's some people that have a relationship with their parents, I must say, which is really good. I mean, perfect if you have it. But I'm sure that at some point in your life, you feel like you need. So I would say that intentional friendship, it's very key. And when I say intentional friendship, like you are there to help. And I will also say that, you know, we also need this consciousness of our society, in our society, to know that that person next to you might actually need to talk, might actually need help.
Yeah.
So having to be kind, kindness should be part of, you know, our life, our everyday life. So some kind words. Some kind words, show encouragement, show love, show empathy, you know, with people, you know, even outside, we don't even need to know people to even, you know, be kind to them, to say some good words.
Yeah.
You know, online, you see people, some people post stuff and, you know, you see all sorts of comments and everything, and you wonder, how did we get here? Like I said, you have to evaluate your circle of friends and, of course, family and see, you know, what value you know, those guys actually bring to you and what you really need. So admitting that you actually even have a problem is very key. That's number one. And number two is you have to also emphasize on quality over quantity, because it's not really about the number of friends you have, it's about the quality of support that you need.
Yeah.
And also, it's also important that, I mean, making the first move is probably the hardest sometimes, because, like I said, some people cannot even, they just hide behind, oh, I just wanted to talk to you. And not necessarily saying what's, you know, they really want. And the other person, you know, ends up saying all the other issues, and then you're there, you're still there, you're even feeling more overwhelmed because you have not added another person's problem, you know, to your own problem. And also seek help. Seek help. Not necessarily, I mean, friends can maybe keep you going, you know, for a long time, but at that moment, you really need help. You need that help. You need that, you know, professional support. That's when, you know, people like us will come in and say, okay, maybe this is what you need. And sometimes, like I said, a lot of people have their things put together. They just need those kind words, those words of affirmation, encouragement, not necessarily in a relationship. You know, it doesn't have to maybe even be a partner. Like I said, if that's coming from a partner, oh, you're very lucky. But then some people are not in relationships, some people are not married.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, they are humans too. Let the singles breathe, you know? So they also need that help. So seek help, seek professional help. You know, you can also, you know, and if it's a problem like with you, people wants to come, you know, there's also that part that some people, they have these people around, they want to come to them, but they have this brick wall because they've had traumas before. They've, you know, invested in friendship that messed them up.
Yeah.
You know, people have broken trust.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another aspect again of loneliness. Some people, it's not like they want to be lonely. Some people were in marriages before that crashed, you know, and they were left in nothing. Some people had friends, good quality friend, and they trusted with everything. And in the end of it, they got nothing, or maybe they even got blackmailed or something. And those kind of people, it's not that they want to be lonely, but life happened.
Yeah.
You know, but you ask yourself, would you rather live like this?
I guess.
And of course, and you know, like I said before, people get into a whole lot. The first stage is that you're alone. The second stage is that you are lonely. And you know, loneliness is also different from being alone. You're alone is that, okay, it's just you, and you can be lonely. Sometimes it's not just you. There are a lot of people, but you're still lonely. And it starts from there. Then eventually leads to depression. And eventually some people even hurt themselves. Some people go into different kind of vices. So before it gets to that point, and some people even lead to suicide. So before it gets to that point, please seek help. Please talk to someone. And if you feel like there's nobody that wants to listen to, reach out to a therapist, reach out to people that are professionals in this field, and of course, seek help and get help. And I think the society also needs to do more.
Yeah.
We need to be kind to each other. We need to offer assistance. I mean, yes, I know for people that are in Germany, before you can even help somebody, you have to seek permission. Oh, can I help you? Yeah. But then, trust me, we also understand kind gestures. I mean, fine. Nobody's going to sue you or call the police on you just because you try to help somebody. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah.
So let's try and be more open, be more friendly. And please, let's not let technology get into our lives so much that we've now discontinued or maybe disregard and forgetting to make good conversation. Because at the end of the day, it is not about all of the successes that you achieved. It is not about the number of people that you know or that is in your space. It's the number of lives that you're able to affect. Yeah, which is very key.
Thank you so much. That was such an interesting conversation. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
On the lab. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that sweet stuff. And I'll see you guys on my next episode. Mwah.